Hey there guys, welcome back to another one of my kit videos. This video I've probably recorded about 2 or 3 times and then kind of pulled it at the last minute because something's either not quite been right or I wanted to make a slight change to it. So I think this is actually at a final point now, so hopefully this will be kind of semi-relatable. This is my DMR build, so designated marksman rifle, so basically it's a semi-auto only gun. Higher FPS limit for going semi only, so it's kind of like a long range accuracy. So I will start out and absolutely admit this is an M4 based riff. I know a lot of people don't like M4 based DMRs because it's just an M4 with a scope on it, and yeah, to be fair, mostly it is, but I have done some other bits and bats on it, and also because it is a HPA powered DMR, it means I can actually drop that pressure down if I need to and turn it into a battle rifle, which I probably will do at some point. So we're going to run through. This is kind of sitting me a little bit cheaper than what buying an MTW would do. The MTW is obviously kind of the gold standard for this kind of rifle, but I kind of didn't want to go that way. I wanted to go my way. I do like spinning these G&Gs with a HPA gearbox as well. So let's just go through the spec and I'll let you know how it actually works. So starting, what I'm going to do is just move it because it's a very long rifle. So in fact, base rifle. Let's start with the base rifle. So this is the G&G CM16 SRXL. So much like my indoor version, that's the SRS. So the rail comes to here. They do an SRL, rail comes to here. And they do the SRXL, rail comes all the way up here. So between them, they are all the same. It is polymer upper, polymer lower, alloy rail, and that super reliable CM16 base level gearbox and stuff. The reason I like these is because there's not a lot to go wrong in them. The polymer makes the body nice and light, so you can really kind of move it about. It's a pretty good quality polymer as well. I prefer a good quality polymer over a cheap metal. And it's single side selector as well. I don't like ambi because they just break. So it's kind of, for me, it's the ideal base gun. You get the slightly better gearbox in here as well with the adjustment screws on it, should you need to get the adjustment right. So I'll start right from the front end. Apologies if I do kind of like cough or go off camera or whatever. It's, again, I'm trying to get over a bit of a chest infection. So right up front here, I've got a Silverback 14mm suppressor. So this is the DTSS suppressor that you see on all the Silverback rifles. This is the 14mm threaded version, and it's the 308 version. So it's not, the 338 is kind of out to about here. Didn't really want that because I thought this would be a little bit nose heavy, and I quite like the look of this. I did have a much kind of a thinner version, and I actually really quite like this. Now, what you'll also see just in there, don't know if you can quite see it in the key mod section there, a little bit of 3D print. That is a barrel spacer which goes all the way around. So that sits. So as my outer barrel kind of like comes up, the barrel spacer sits around the outer barrel, but then in my handguard here, it also kind of splays out to grab that. So it actually keeps that outer barrel perfectly centre all the way up. That's sat back just in the rail there, just to give a bit of rigidity through the whole thing. And it also means that when the suppressor comes on, it's absolutely dead centre, absolutely bob on. I'm really happy with that. So working our way back up the rifle, it probably would move then onto the hop area. So in there, I have got the ZCI plastic rotary hop. That is a hop up which I absolutely swear by. I run it in pretty much all of my G&Gs. It just fits in the G&G bodies nicely. It works exceptionally well. Slightly better for me than the standard G&G. Certainly on these ones, the standard G&G, you get little dial jobby things. And on some of the high range G&Gs, you get the rotary, but it's a clicky rotary, whereas this isn't clicky, so you get kind of almost an infinite amount of adjustment. So within that then, obviously can't pull it back because it's all in there. I've currently got what have I got in here? I've got a Maple Leaf MR Hop booking. It's the 60 Shore version, and I've got the AK2M4 Gear Parts Amiga nub, so the cheap version of the Maple Leaf nub. In a barrel, I'm running a PDI 370mm, which is what came out of my Silverback SRS G-Spec build. And that is a 605 width. So it's not the tightest you can possibly go. Probably could have done with a slightly tighter version just to aid with that air efficiency, but the Kythera is not a hungry beast at the best of times, so we can get away with that. Slightly wider barrel, you get slightly less on the BB, so in theory it flies a little bit nicer. As we move back a little bit further, charging handle is a stock G&G one. However, as always, I've swapped out the charging handle spring for the XT one. Again, I bought that from AK to M4. On these G&Gs, the charging handle spring just stretches after about 3 pulls. These XT ones just keep going and going and going, nice and snappy. Moving up, we'll look at the optics next. So this is a Vector optics. It's a 1:6 by 24, I think. Really nice scope, actually. Comes with the mounts. It's got the adjustable throw lever on here, much like the Novrich one, which kind of adjusts your scope. Obviously, a lot of scopes have got the twisty job, but not many of them come with the throw lever, which I really like for on the fly stuff. It was watching a Novrich video which gave me that idea to get one with a throw lever. Oh, there, look, it says 1:6 by 24. And then the windage and height adjustments are slightly different on this. In airsoft land, we often unscrew these and you try and get a screwdriver or whatever, and you always lose them. On this particular scope, you just pop them out like that, give them a twist, pop them back in when you're done. So I really like that about this. This is dialed in, so I'm not going to muck about with it too much, but I do really like that. And then it is illuminated as well. I do have a battery in there. I'm never going to use the illumination. So why have I gone 1:6? So 1, basically a red dot, and you can kind of line it up with yourself to get that red dot effect. Ideal when I'm running this baby at lower pressures, and then I can just throw that lever up to 3 times. If I'm DMRing, obviously we can just pop people off at range then as well. Should probably add ammo. Generally, I run 3.6s, Jeff's 3.6s through it. Recently stepping up to 4s because I can't get 3.6s. Excuse me. So yeah, ammo, it flicks the ammo out quite nicely. It's been apart a couple of times over the past few weeks, so it probably needs a bit of resetting up, but it handles 3.6s, 4s nicely. So as we move on, nothing too special along here. I always add a bit of black foam there just to stop that from rattling. Yes, I could take it off, but I kind of like the look of it. Inside the gearbox, I have the Polarstar Kythera. I have one of the high pressure airsoft grip lines on there, so a bit of braided grip line, and I've put the 5KU aluminium trigger on there as well. So semi only, it is a DMR. It's never going to go full auto, and it doesn't need batteries, so you just hit your line on it and away you go. The rest of it is stock back here. The pull cord thing for the Kythera is up here. I like running the motor plate on these. Take that screw out, stick your motor plate in, and you are good to go. It's not jammed on me yet. The alignment was absolutely spot on, straight out of the box, if I remember rightly. So I'm super happy with this as a DMR. So what kind of results do we get? So 80 PSI input as I go into here nets me about 1.14 joules-ish. So that's about battle rifle kind of limits in the UK. So, and it'll quite happily flick 3.6s, 4s, even 2.5s, 2.8s at that 1.14 joules. So I'm not over or under volume. It's quite a nice point to be. So I can run it just on the friendly side if I don't want to have minimum engagement. Then if I crank that FPS up about 105, 110, we get more in the region of about 450 FPS equivalent. I don't know what the exact, I think it's about 1.8 joules, 1.88, somewhere around there. So that's kind of your single shots, well, semi-automatic only, 1 BB in the air, minimum engagement distance of at least 20 meters. And that's my DMR. So obviously it runs on M4 mags. I don't like running the EPM 1s in this. Obviously it can use them quite happily. But being semi-auto only build, and being that I'm flicking 4s like they're going out of fashion with this thing, I actually like using the EPM1S's, so the little stumpy mags. Looks a bit more DMR as well. And what I also obviously don't run it with the stock all the way in as well, so I tend to run it stock out. So you can shoulder up quite nicely with that. It's a bit too big to fit on the bench in total here, but you kind of get the idea. So there we go. Yeah, hopefully you don't get on the receiving end of this on an airsoft field, but if you do, I do apologise, but hopefully it didn't hurt you. And there we have it. Yeah, that's my DMR. That's my M4 with a scope on. Thank you very much for watching me go over my kit and babble on again. Please feel free to hit a like on the video, have a look at some of my other videos, some of the kit which we got going on, and don't forget, hit that sub button to join me on my YouTubing journey. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one.